The NFL schedule dropped. The NBA draft lottery shook up the league, and the Tampa Bay Rays are somehow in first place. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. I'm your host, standing 5 foot nothing, weighing 100 and nothing, and I have a lot to get into today. We've got playoff basketball heating up, a couple of tanking teams that are about to get very scary very fast, and one young French giant who needs to keep his elbows to himself. Welcome back to JetKoa Sports. Let's get into it. The NFL regular season schedule is out, and the Giants will host the Cowboys during Week 1 Sunday Night Football. This is always a fantastic matchup of division rivals, and the games are always close. They're always competitive. It's a lot of fun, and it may be the first of many matchups for former Ohio State players Arvil Reese and Caleb Downs. Reese was drafted by the Giants number 5, and Caleb Downs was drafted by the Cowboys at number 11. In other NFL news, David Njoku signed with the Chargers, and I do think that's a good player for them. But it's not season-changing. They're not winning the Super Bowl because they signed David Njoku. But he is another capable pass catcher for Herbert, and he is a good blocking tight end as well. And honestly, the Chargers' playoff hopes collapsed with their 2 starting tackles in 2025. So taking a flyer here on more blocking is a great idea. And speaking of taking a flyer, the NBA draft lottery was Sunday, and tanking teams were definitely rewarded for their efforts, or lack thereof. The Wizards got the number 1 overall pick, and when you add that to Trae Young, Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr, and Keyshawn George, you have yourself a formidable lineup in the East starting next year. I think with that lineup, if they add A.J. DeBonsa and keep the rest of the roster intact, they're a playoff team in the East. Now, what they really need is for Trae Young to allow A.J. DeBonsa to grow into a lead scorer role. DeBonsa is the future, so Trae cannot stand in his way. And after the Atlanta Hawks moved Trae to Washington, it kind of started to seem like he was standing in a lot of those young wings' way in Atlanta. And once he's out of the picture, all those guys are kind of finding their footing, got the opportunity to play with the ball in their hands, and the Atlanta Hawks are much better. So Trae Young does need to realize DeBonsa is the future, and he's going to have to adjust his style of play. The Utah Jazz also tanked hard and were rewarded with the 2nd pick. You add the 2nd pick to Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr., and you got yourself the making of a formidable lineup in the West. Utah also has some decent guard play in Keontae George and Kennedy Chandler, and now they get to go and draft Darren Peterson to get their lead scoring guard. Fantastic for the Jazz. Now both of those teams have serious arrows pointing up and to the right, all via the tanking method. And meanwhile, the Indianapolis Pacers, who had serious injury issues going into the season, seemed to be the team that got punished by the draft lottery. They had the 2nd worst regular season record, and it was due to Tyrese Halliburton blowing his Achilles in last year's finals and then losing Miles Turner in free agency to the Bucks. They did not actively tank like the other top 3 drafting teams. And they landed number 5, which means that pick reverts to the Clippers as it was only top 4 protected. So the top 3 teams in this draft all tanked hard and got rewarded with the top 3 picks. And the Pacers, who do things the right way, the honorable way, got screwed at number 5, and their pick goes to the Clippers. I'm glad they're working on a new system, but somebody is always going to benefit from shady practices, while someone who does things the right way also loses. That's just the circumstance of life, so we're never going to be completely happy with whatever system they build. Moving to the playoffs. Right now, we got the Pistons playing the Cavs, and in a second, the Lakers will be taking on the Thunder. I feel the Thunder close it out tonight, but at the worst, it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I picked that same outcome to start the series, and nothing has transpired that would change my mind on it now. And just knowing Luke is not coming back, like, it makes it harder for them to steal that one game. James Harden was huge in Game 3, which is a nice surprise for a guy that seems to have the opposite narrative during the postseason. I do not think Harden will be able to do that 3 more times, but I hope he surprises me again. That game is going on right now, Cavs versus Pistons, and ultimately I don't see how the Cavs can shut down Cade with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell playing such big minutes. And without shutting down Cade, I don't feel the Cavs have enough. I mean, they might win one more game, but I think that's probably where the road ends. Moving to the other series in the East, the Knicks are just cruising. I said if the Knicks play the team basketball that they can play, then this series should be over in 5 or 6 games. The Knicks have continued to play a team brand of basketball, and they're incorporating other parts of the offense early and then letting Brunson cook when he gets hungry. And he will be hungry since the Knicks are asking Brunson to not eat breakfast and get everybody else involved. Plus, the Sixers are not in a position to make a comeback this time. Embiid had an appendectomy a couple weeks ago, and he is looking tired. He has battled impressively, but ultimately, he is not in the shape needed to play high-intensity basketball for a high amount of minutes. The Sixers' backcourt is great, and they will be fun to watch for years to come. But Paul George and Embiid are way too injury-prone, and this team just didn't get the time needed during the regular season to gel and really find out like how good they could actually be. And the Knicks look like the team to beat in the East. Making the finals this year would go a long way to justifying the Knicks' path, and I feel they'll get there. They are in the driver's seat right now. Moving back over to the West to cover the other series in that conference, we got Spurs versus Wolves. And the Wolves tied it up last night at 2 games apiece. Wemby was ejected in the second period with only 4 points for throwing a nasty elbow into the face of Naz Reid. And while being ejected from a playoff game is serious and a big deal, so was the contact Wemby made with Naz's head. It was dangerous, and the NBA had to act. The Spurs are honestly lucky Wemby is even playing in Game 5. However, the Spurs played extremely well in Game 4 without their big man, and they had an 8-point lead in the second half. They just had a few late-game moments that did not go well and reminded us how young they really are. But at the same time, they displayed some very principled defense to trap the Wolves in the backcourt, and it kept them alive in the late moments as well. So while the youth did hinder them, their overall team discipline kind of made up for it. They still need Wemby late in games to provide the offense, with Harper helping out a little bit. I mean, Harper came alive in Game 3 of the first round when Wemby was hurt, and I think that gave San Antonio the confidence and another late-game scorer. And Harper has continued to play well, but he's still growing into this role. And he's going to have some bad days, some bad plays, and Wemby needs to be on the floor to help out. Wemby needs to stay on the floor. And to do this, Wemby needs to understand how people will play him. He can look at Anthony Edwards as a great example for this. Their games are obviously different, but a few years ago, teams started giving Ant-Man a whole new type of defense that confused me when I was watching it. And Anthony Edwards even came out after the game and was like, I don't even understand what they're doing to me right now, but it is different. He was so confused. He was out of rhythm for the first couple of series that year and the next year. But now he's putting up 36 points against that style of defense executed by a good San Antonio defense. So Wemby has the example right there in front of him. And with Wemby, in Wemby's case, the teams will try to outmuscle him. They want him to use effort every time he moves anywhere on the court, with or without the ball. He is such a force on offense and defense, but that takes a huge toll on a player. So you add that toll that's already being taken, plus every time he moves on the court, someone's bumping him, someone's pushing him, someone's grabbing him. It's going to wear you down, and it's going to piss you off. Be ready, Wemby. And the Spurs need a new age Dennis Rodman to whoop some butt from time to time, so Wemby does not have to do it himself and throw elbows. Either way, this series has been great to watch, and the final 3 games should be outstanding. The Spurs are the more talented team overall, but the Wolves have the experience, and Anthony Edwards is a top 5 all-around player. If Wemby can't keep his cool, then the Wolves will win. And he must do more than just remain in each game to the end of the game to do that. He cannot get demonstrably upset with the physical and aggressive play. He needs to embrace it, and he needs to lead his team by example. And speaking of leading by example, the baseball season continues with the Tampa Rays now in first place in the AL East. The Yankees have dropped to second. Cleveland leads the AL Central at 21-21. Whoopee. The Athletics lead the AL West at 21-19 in another bad division. The Braves now have a 9-game lead over the NL East. And the Cubs continue to play well, winning another 10 straight. And they look to make this a special year before an offseason with lots of question marks. And they also lead the NL Central. And the San Diego Padres have now tied the Dodgers atop the NL West. I've been saying the Padres would be a serious issue within the division if the Dodgers do not figure out that bullpen and stop playing around with their other players. They're resting everyone because they have so much talent, but you still got to get out there and win some of the easy games. So let's jump into this fresh MLB.com Power Rankings. In first place, we have the Cubs now. They've won 10 straight games twice this season. That is very difficult to do when your team has played 40 games. And they're going to start getting some pitchers back soon, and we'll look to add another couple 10-game streaks to finish off the year. Home field advantage is real at Wrigley Field, so they will want to stay atop the division, even though the win can bite the home team from time to time as well. They've won 10 straight games twice this season. That is very difficult to do when your team has played 40 games. And they're going to start getting some pitchers back soon, and we'll look to add another couple 10-game streaks to finish off the year. Home field advantage is real at Wrigley Field, so they will want to stay atop the division, even though the win can bite the home team from time to time as well. Coming in second is the Atlanta Braves. They have the best record in baseball. The offense continues to put up strong numbers, and look for Acuna and Riley to rebound and add to the production. The staff is doing well, and they will get a few top pitchers back soon. So they may get better as the season goes forward. And former Rookie of the Year Drake Baldwin has been huge. Absolutely huge. In third, we got the Dodgers. Talked about them a second ago. They got Blake Snell back. They got Mookie Betts back. But pitchers Tyler Glasnow and Lance McCullers Jr. are now out. So while they have gotten some good pieces back, they lost some strong pieces as well. Their offense continues to do enough, and the pitching staff is being watched closely to limit workloads. At some point, the Dodgers will have a full, healthy squad, and will need to get them playing well together. But they seem to be able to play casually until the trade deadline. They got a lot of talent. Fourth, we got the Yankees. Starting rotation has been brilliant. I keep talking about that, and I will keep talking about it. The bullpen has been fine. I still believe they need to improve that. And the offense is showing it can produce runs from all over the lineup. Defense is solid. I think the known commodities on the Yankees is what keeps them at number 4 over the number 5 Tampa Bay Rays. They continue to defy the odds makers. The rotation is strong with Shane McClanahan, Drew Rasmussen, and the additions of Nick Martinez and Steven Matz. The bullpen has been outstanding, and they're playing every type of baseball conceivable. They run, hit for average, bunt, hit for occasional power, play good defense, and obviously pitch well. Will they be able to keep it up? That's the question. And when will the cracks start to show? Number 6, we got the Brewers. Jacob Mizorowski just threw 7 pitches above 101 miles per hour as he dominated my Yankees. He is another homegrown ace in Milwaukee, and they have the talent all around their roster to contend in the Central. Number 7, we got the Padres. I've been talking about them all year, and they did just tie the Dodgers for the NL West lead, but their offense has presented some major problem areas that they need to address ASAP. They recently went scoreless for 17 straight innings, and that cannot happen again. That type of anemic offense is a sign of multiple issues, one of which is Manny Machado is only hitting 191. That won't last, but we're getting deeper into the season. That's troubling. Coming in at number 8, we have the Cardinals. Cardinals youngsters continue their surprising season. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and I hope it continues throughout the season. However, I do not see them as a playoff team just yet. Coming in number 9, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pitching has been strong. Connor Griffin is starting to put it all together, and Marcell Ozuna has started hitting the baseball. Welcome to the team. The Pirates' other free agent additions have been good, so getting Ozuna's bat in the mix is a huge win for the club. The postseason is still in reach. It's early. I like the Pirates. And then rounding out the top 10, we have the Athletics. They were my AL wildcard teams preseason, and they're starting to round into shape. Nick Kurtz is awesome, and while he's not hitting a whole lot of home runs like last year, he is getting on base in record streaks. He's now at 35 straight games as of the start of today. I don't know about tonight's game. But the Rays are winning games. Let's dig in to find out what is going on in Tampa. Starting with defense. The outfield is doing fine. Chandler Simpson has improved his defense. Jack Fraley has been solid. And Johnny DeLuca is back. And he looks plus running around out there. The infield has fewer bright spots. Shortstop Taylor Walls has been solid. Second base has contributed average D. But first and third have been below average. And the catchers are not controlling the run game. They seem to be prioritizing pitch framing, which still plays a major factor in baseball until the ABS is incorporated into more scenarios. So that's not the worst decision. I think if you are choosing one over the other, like, it's still a good decision to pick pitch framing over stolen bases. Anyways, all of this adds up to a .980 fielding percentage. So the defense is all right, but there is obvious room for improvement in multiple areas. So let's move to the mound now. The Rays have a 1.16 whip that is tied for second. They have a 3.44 ERA, fifth. A .219 average against, that's third. And then they have a 2.5 strikeout to walk ratio. Now, while they do have a 2.5 strikeout to walk ratio, which is decent, borderline good, they don't strike out a lot of people, ranking in the bottom 3 in all of baseball. But that also means they don't walk a lot of people, if you remember the ratio. They pitch to contact, and it has been working for them so far. And they lead Major League Baseball in saves. So pitching has been really good. But they may be flirting with disaster by hitting so many bats. Right now it's working, but eventually some of those are going to go further in the outfield. Okay, so we got good pitching, got an average overall defense, but that doesn't win you games alone. So what are the bats doing? The Rays have a .254 batting average. That is fourth in baseball. They have a .327 on-base percentage. That is ninth in baseball. They don't hit a lot of homers. told you they hit for occasional power. They have 32 home runs, which is tied for 25th. They have 161 RBIs, which is the bottom third of the league. But they have 40 stolen bases, which is fourth in baseball. But they only scored 171 runs, which is bottom third of the league. So this is kind of where we start to see the bigger picture with the Rays. They can pitch with anyone, and their defense will do enough as long as the bats deliver. The weaker defensive spots at first and third belong to the Rays' power hitters in Junior Caminero and Jonathan Aranda. So they will live with their defense. But the bats need to keep producing, or the Rays will find themselves in a bad spot. They lack power as a team, and the infield defense is suspect at times. And the pitchers do not miss many bats. So this all feels like a house of cards waiting to be toppled. I feel the Rays will fall back to earth and give the AL East to the Yankees, but they are legit, and they will stay in the hunt for a wild card spot. And I'm enjoying the build. The Rays are one of my favorite teams each year because they just go out and play ball. There's not a whole lot of talk. There's not a whole lot of big names. Just results and quality homegrown prospects. Absolutely love it. Please jump in the comments and let me know if I said something stupid or if I pissed you off or if I just made you not like me. I'd love to get to the bottom of it. Thank y'all for joining us at JetKoa Sports. Please hit that subscribe button to keep getting my weekly insights and keep balling, y'all.